how do we begin to introduce a price point that is getting closer to the maximum amount that somebody would pay for the value?
Well, to further add to what I just said before, you must start with understanding value. You must start with having a value conversation. I know Ron's going to talk about the same. You can't be just, and particularly as a professional that is delivering results, delivering outcomes, you must be willing for, and it's imperative to this quest for achieving great pricing in your firm, is that you are having conversations, detailed conversations with your prospective or current client, that conversations about understanding really what's going on in their world, to understand really how you can assist to add value to their situation, to be able to truly, I hate the words make a difference, so become so trite, but that you are really delivering some outcome. And what is that outcome? You can't set the price without having that value conversation. To be anywhere near achieving this potential maximum point, so to speak, it all starts with really truly understanding what's going on in the customer's world.
Got it. And to pass it over to Ron, I'm interested in, obviously, how does this conversation take place? And then, do you have examples or something for the audience to really grip like what the difference in conversations and how the conversations go?
Yeah, let me just say, and I'm a recovering CPA, so I'm a numbers guy, just like Steve is, and this is going to sound very, very controversial, but it's absolutely true. Value is not a number; it's a feeling. Get over it. Value is a feeling.
That sounds scary. That sounds scary, though.
It is scary because there's no formula for it, and if anybody gives you a formula for it, they're a charlatan, because value is completely subjective. Just if you have an Apple product in front of you, you know what I'm talking about. You paid a fortune for it. Why? You can get other competing products for a lot less than you might buy for Apple, or indeed a certain type of car or watch or clothing, whatever. So value is a feeling. It's contextual. The other thing I want to say that's going to sound very heretical is it's more important how you price than what your price is. Now, I know that sounds really counterintuitive coming from a numbers person, but presenting your price as options, giving at least 3 options is really important, rather than just giving a one price, take it or leave it type package. And David, real fast, you asked for an example of a value conversation. Let me give you a great one, and let me give you one everybody, I think, can relate to. You're looking for a landscaper, and you go on Google or Yelp or whatever, and you find 3 that look pretty good, and your first one comes out, and he walks around your property, and he's doing a scope of work. And he looks at me and he says, Ron, I can do all this. I'm $40 an hour. Okay, well, he's charging based on inputs, right? And I'm left wondering, well, what's that translate in? Because an hourly rate is not a price. Is he going to send his inexperienced kids out and take 10 hours, every week to do my yard? So I'm left with all these questions. The second guy comes out, does the same thing, walks around the yards, in his mind, he's getting scope of work. And he looks at me and says, I can handle all this. I'm $100 a month. Okay, that's a little bit better. He's charging based on outputs. That's better than inputs. But the third guy comes out and he starts up a conversation with me. He says, so Ron, tell me, what do you do for a living? Oh, I travel a lot. I speak a lot all over the world. Oh, so you're not home a lot. I take it you're not Martha Stewart. You don't like to do yard work. No, I hate yard work. I don't want to think about my yard. So he's walking around too. He's getting an idea, sense of scope of work, because of course he's a professional, but he's not focusing on that with me. He's focusing on scope of value. And he says, I'll tell you what. He says, I know you don't like to do yard work. He says, I'm going to plant different shrubbery for the different seasons. I'm going to turn your topsoil. I'm going to treat your trees a couple times a year. He said, Ron, you're not going to have to think about your yard. And not only that, you're going to have the best curbside appeal in the neighborhood. I'm $200 a month. Who am I going to hire? Who am I going to hire? Who did the best job communicating value? Who focused on, like what Steve said, outcomes? David, the definition of a professional, and this is very important. I want to hammer this really hard. The definition of a professional is someone who takes responsibility for producing an outcome, not delivering a series of tasks. We have to move off scope of work and start at scope of value, because we have to find out what it is the customer is trying to achieve. If that same landscaper goes next door and talks to my neighbor, he's going to have a totally different value proposition, because my neighbor loves to do yard work. I don't. So we have to start with the customer, which means we price the customer, not the service. And better yet, you're pricing the outcome for the customer, and you're doing that by presenting it 3 options, basically.